Alright, hello, welcome to another Marvel Snap highlight. So today I want to go over the OTA changes that I hope to see in tomorrow's OTA, or today as if you're seeing the video. And I'm gonna be honest, I doubt any of my changes will be seen, but this is what I would really like to see change-wise. I'm gonna talk about the cards I want to see changes, and then say the changes that I think I would like to see to these cards, and give a few options in most cases. The first one, starting off with everyone has feelings about this card, I assume. That is ShangChi. He has the honor field, destroy all enemy cards here that have 10 or more power, and he is a 4/3. 4 is the notable thing of his card because he is able to be reduced by Zabu. And I think you have two ways of dealing with this card. You don't have to touch him directly, which I am assuming is the route the second dinner will go, because they have touched ShangChi one time in the 3 years that the game's been out, even though he's a top meta performer almost all the time. And that would be by touching the cards around him that are causing him to be a problem, which I will get into later. But I think there are three ways they could touch this card in the OTA, and the most likely way is, if they touched it, is make him a 4/2. I'm sorry, I agree that 1 point power changes don't matter, ever, but make him a 4/2. Make him 1 point of power above Ravonna. I don't understand why he isn't there right now. To me, that seems the simplest way to fix the card. Not even fix it, but to just, put him in check to say, hey, yeah, we see that this card's a little prevalent right now. The other two ways are more severe changes that I would like to see. One would be move him to a 5/3. Move him up 1 cost. And the next card I'm going to go over is going to be the justification as to why I think ShangChi should be a 5/3. But I think he should not be able to be discounted by Zabu, is the main reason I'm saying this. And there are other discount cards in the game now, and more energy cards coming into the game with that Activate Psylocke card coming out next week or whatever, that playing a 5 cost on 6 is going to be more doable now. I think moving him to a 5/3, where you're playing to win 1 lane. That's all this card should do. He should win you 1 lane. You shouldn't be able to play him and then contest another lane. That's not how this card should work. The last way, and the most interesting way, would be all of the cards that are similar to ShangChi in the fact that they are this big game-altering effect that's interacting with cards. Interact with both sides of the board. Make ShangChi interact with both sides of the board. You also destroy your cards. You destroy all cards here that have 10 or more power. So no more just ShangChi into Monster Island. You're killing your monster too. And maybe that causes problems for destroy decks. I don't know. But I think it would be interesting because cards like Enchantress do the same thing. And that is one of the most comparable cards to ShangChi is Enchantress right now. Those are 3 changes that I think they could make to ShangChi that would at least change it up a little bit, make it more that you have to dedicate to this card. Because right now you just slot him in and he works. There's no build around. I'm not saying tech, you should build your whole deck around tech, but you should have to try a little bit more to utilize tech cards, I think. The next card I wanted to look at is Valkyrie. She is a 5/3, which, this pairs him with the Shang thing. Bump up the cost, because Valkyrie sets all cards here to 3. Once again, hitting both sides of the board. And Valkyrie is the reason I think Shang at 5 would make sense. Valkyrie does the same job. Makes your opponent's big cards smaller. What I would love to see is Valkyrie have no text change, no number changes, but function like Shadow King. I know Luke Cage isn't prevalent right now, but there's just no reason that she shouldn't function through Luke Cage, in my opinion. I don't even think it would be that bad. It would just mean when you're running Valkyrie, you're not running Luke Cage, but you can still play around her. With that being said, all ongoing cards still play through Valkyrie perfectly fine. I think you probably wouldn't really see it move the needle on Valkyrie, but I think it's a quality of life change that if paired with a ShangChi change, it would say, hey, here's another card that can do the same thing. You gotta work a little harder for this one, but it's an option. I think putting both of them out in the same OTA would be a very beneficial thing for Valkyrie stocks. Next, looking at a Red Guardian. You have a theme going on in this OTA. I am annoyed with tech. This is going to be the last tech card in the OTA. And I'm a big hater on 1.1 power changes, but I think just knock a power off Red Guardian. Make Red Guardian a 3-2. Don't knock it off the -2 he afflicts to make it -1. Knock it off his body. So he is a 3-2. Or 3-2. A 3-2, not 3-2. That way he stays one above the Ravona discount threshold, and it weakens all decks that are running him, but the specific prevalent ones like Thanos and Silver Surfer, so it's a little bit less power. Like I would assume Red Guardian is right up there with Shang, probably lower only because not everyone has this. Is he still a Series 5 card? I don't know what series he is. I think he's a Series 5 card. So, like, yeah, I think that just taking a point of power off, just bumping him down a little bit, you probably won't even see it impact his play rate, but I think it'll make a very large difference with how often he's being played. Alright, the lady of the hour, probably the number 2 biggest problem child in the game right now, and that's Galacta. I think it's a simple solution. I think this number down here, I think it needs to go to a 2. I think she should only give +2. And no, I don't think you should give her point of power back to give her to a 4-6. Why should Galacta have the same power stat as Gwenpool when Galacta is controlled and Gwenpool isn't? Like, that shouldn't be how that works. I think that Galacta should only be able to scale up to a 4-9, whereas Gwenpool should be able to go to a 4-12, because Gwenpool is random. That makes sense. Galacta is the problem card right now with being able to justify using so much tech in Shang and all that, because you're able to put out so much power in those other lanes. And maybe nerfing her to this will make it so Gwenpool rises in popularity. I doubt it because of how much control Galacta gives. And once again, this is a really big hit at the cards that Thanos and Silver Surfer are utilizing and abusing, and most top decks are abusing Galacta right now. Okay, so this next one isn't what you're thinking. I'm pulling up Serge to show the point that I want to prove with this. So Serge is the problem card. I am hesitant to say anything about Serge because she is so new, and also I think she is a very polarizing card. Obviously, this is the card that's causing all of the problems with tech right now, in my opinion. Having -1 cost +1 power to the top card of your deck enables you to just fill with so much tech. She's the problem card. However, it's not what I'm addressing here. The thing that's weird about Serge is that her on reveal only happens if she's alive on the board. You might not have known that. I think it's pretty common knowledge. It only happens if it's on the board, which doesn't make sense because she already revealed. Like, there's nothing on here that says, like, oh, it needs to be alive to do that. And I think that if this is the standard, then all on reveal cards should function like this. So any cards that have on reveals that happen over multiple turns, because some of those cards exist right now, if they get destroyed, they're effect that would happen when they are destroyed, not on the board, should not happen. Specifically, the interaction with Iron Patriot. I think everyone has seen games where Iron Patriot plays, gets destroyed off the board, and then comes back from the graveyard to give -3 cost. I think that there should be a consistency. Either all cards should work like Serge, or all cards should work like Iron Patriot. I think it is a bad design that both, like, duality can happen at the same time. It makes it confusing. And I think for a game that's supposed to be a fast, easy game to pick up, the interactions should be simple. There shouldn't be this complexity between how cards work and deciphering how this interaction is going to work. But that's all with the, like, nerfs. This last one kind of just a functionality change, which would technically nerf Iron Patriot and other cards that function similarly. And then go through a few buffs that I would also like to see next. So, Toxy Doxy is a card I would really like to see get a buff. She fills a role in hand buff decks where you want to get +2 or plus however much power on a card with a big effect like Brood. But then she has a big downside at you can't play those cards next turn, so you can really mess up your curve if, like, you had a play line that's Zabu into Toxy Doxy, and then your Toxy Doxy hits your Gwenpool. Now you can't Gwenpool on 3 if it got hit by your Zabu, or Galacta, whatever, right? So it's a big downside for a card being a 2/5, especially when you can look and see we have 2 6s that's -4 power, or 2/5 that the card moves around. This isn't even a downside, like, that's just a good thing, and that's a 2/5. Like, so when you're looking at the stat line, like, it doesn't justify it. Like, it's a pretty severe downside, so I would like to see her go to a +3. It's not a very hot take, I don't think. And if you think this is too strong, move her to a 2/0 that gives +3. But I think giving her another point of power to the cards that she buffs would go a long way for her, especially because of how big her downside is. Another card I want to take a look at is Seline. Seline has kind of fallen into obscurity. She was a 1-1, I think, when she first released, then got changed to a 1/2, which kind of put her in a weird spot because she didn't really have meaningful stats on your side, then you couldn't flip her to clutter your opponent's side, so she's more or less fallen into obscurity. She's seen, I've used her a little bit here and there, and she's just not that good, all things considered. But taking a page out of Serge's book, I think it could be very interesting to see Seline have an on reveal that says afflict the lowest power card in each player's hand with -2 power, and then repeat this whenever one of those cards is played. So whenever you or the opponent play the card that's afflicted with -2 power, she re-triggers. So this could be really good for a deck running like a clog deck, that you want to, like, hit your hood, you play your hood out, and then it hits your green goblin, you green goblin, and then you get hit, and then you could hobgoblin, right? Especially because green goblin and hobgoblin aren't even really used that much. Obviously people don't enjoy seeing clog, but it would be good to utilize it on your side, and realistically it's just going to hit the same card 3 times on your opponent's side, and it's not going to change that much. He probably wasn't going to play it after the first hit anyway, but it could give a little bit of spice and interest to the way that you play clog, which could be a fun way of looking at it, in my opinion. So I know that Pixie just got top 8 at the Gold Gauntlet. I believe it was 100% because of Serge. I have said this before, I've said it a lot. I would really like to see Pixie get changed from shuffle, the base cost of all the cards in your deck that started here, to swap. To ensure that that wording change would imply that the cost will not go from itself and then get shuffled back onto itself. So like if you have a Kate Bishop in your deck, Kate Bishop's 2 cost cannot get shuffled and then placed back onto her. With Pixie's text, that is currently something that can happen. But, and you might be thinking, oh, that's so strong, it'd make it so consistent. If you have other 2 costs in your deck, that the other 2 costs, if you Kate Bishop and Mr. Sinister could still get put on Kate Bishops, and Kate Bishops on Mr. Sinister, effectively feeling the same, but at least you know that Kate Bishops didn't go back onto Kate Bishops. I think this would just make the deck feel a lot better. It still adds that randomness, but it makes it feel justified that, oh, if you play Pixie on 2, you have a pretty good chance of winning this game. Whereas right now, if you play Pixie on 2, you're going, this could be really good, or I could draw all of my 6 cost 2 drops, and who cares anymore? So I just think making her a little bit more consistent, and if you think this is too strong, take a point of power off and put her back to the 2-1. But it would just make her feel a lot better, I think. Okay, so I saw this in Hooglandia's, and he said to make Goose go down to 3. I don't think that should happen. That seems crazy. I mean, it would make Goose strong again. But like a simple buff for Goose is, can we make a Goose just say nobody can play cards that cost 4 or more? Like, why can Arshem go over the top of Goose? Like, can we just make it that isn't a thing that can happen? Because Goose was made before 7s were really in the game. Like, Death was in the game, but like Death normally was really cheap, so you didn't really have to think about it. And you couldn't play a 7 cost card really unless you're spending like your limbo. Like I just think Goose should prevent all cards that cost more than 4. It's a very silly interaction that the Goose, the card that prevents big cards from playing here, has cards that can go over the top, being extra large. Like, I don't know. I think it's a silly one, and I think it's a simple change that should happen. It won't make Goose that much better, but it would just make it make more sense, I think. The last card that I'd like to see changed is Sabertooth. I think Sabertooth is a super interesting card. The problem is that he costs too much. At a 3/5, it really ruins the curve of destroy decks. Because on 3, you typically want to be destroying, like you can go Deadpool into Wolverine into Deathlock, hypothetically. Whereas this, you'd have to go, you wouldn't be able to start destroying until turn 4. I think it'd be very cool to see Sabertooth as a 2-drop, like a 2/3 or something with the same text. So you're getting a little bit less payoff, and it's similar to a Wolverine where you just get to keep destroying him, keep destroying him, keep destroying him, but he's not getting any stronger himself. But it would just add a little bit more flexibility, and Destroy needs a little bit of love right now, I think. I say, but also Kid Omega's coming out, so maybe I don't feel that bad about it. But Kid Omega could also make Sabertooth good. But without Kid Omega in the picture, I think Sabertooth will need a little bit of love, and I doubt that people are going to start running Sabertooth because of Kid Omega. But yeah, if you guys have any cards that you think should be buffed or nerfed, please let me know in the comments, or if you think some of my things are completely unhinged, let me know. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on the matter, and if you guys want to see more of this, remember to leave a like to let me know, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.